face front, true believers. Welcome to the Pitch Nerds. We are the weekly show where two nerds, best friend, fellow nerds, huddle up together to bring you the latest nerdy news, reviews, and occasionally pitch story ideas. I'm Cap, and joining me today is always best friend, fellow nerd, and national security threat, Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty, how are you doing today?
Hey, if anybody can hear my fan, let me know. I had it on last week and nobody seemed to notice. So
I don't hear any reverb, so you're good.
Yeah, I got it far away from the mic, but I'm just sometimes we hear different to them.
Yeah.
So just let us know if it's annoying or loud or whatever, and I can deal with it.
Yep.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Yes,
I'm a
hi.
little under the weather today, but I fought through it. We'll try and get through a whole show. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing better.
Yes,
All I have to say is screw you, heart disease, screw you, kidney disease.
Well, I don't have those issues, but I do have owies from building my brand new barbecue grill today. And so here's what I like to do, Frosty. When I throw away big items, because where I live, when people throw stuff away, there's some really good shit. There's some really good shit that people just, I mean, not throw it away, but like leave out the garbage. So I'm not necessarily dumpster diving. It's just, hey, here's this item.
I know what you mean.
So whenever I leave items out that are of some type of working order, just don't need it anymore, I have fun with it. So one time I put a lamp out there and I said, works, but definitely haunted. I put my daughter's old desk out there and I said, definitely haunted. So today was no different. Now my daughter gave me a little thing, an old desk of hers to throw away. So I did that. So she didn't clear out one of the drawers, and I found a bunch of little knickknacks and whatnot. Among them, a photo of my Yvette's niece and nephew. Now, as I was carrying this thing down the stairs, I'm like, what should I do that's fun? I can't think of anything fun. I still have stuff to do. I'm putting together this grill, yada yada. But then I started rummaging through, and I found these pictures. Like, ooh, that's when I hatched my plot. So I wrote R.I.P. on both on the back of the pictures, and I wrote a date on them. It was like May 24th, 2001, and then the other one I wrote May 28th, 2001. Just two random dates, but I wanted them close enough. And I put those in the desk with a bunch of some of the other tchotchkes. And one of the things that I found was like a children's hospital thing that my youngin just had. So I started to put everything together in my head. So I saved a couple little tchotchkes. I put them aside for later, and I wrote R.I.P., put them on the pictures, left it out of the dumpster. Boom. Step one. Step two. What am I going to do with this barbecue grill, my old one? So here's where here's where it really starts to come together. So I take a couple of the tchotchkes and I light them on fire. See, and just to make them look nice and charred, I put one of the tchotchkes back into the drawer with the R.I.P. pictures. Okay. And then I took my old barbecue and took a similar, like the other tchotchke that's all burnt, and I hid it in the grease trap. And I left it out at the dumpster adjacent from the desk. I have created so much of a veiled narrative to whoever garbage collector is going to come and think that, oh, this looks like a pretty good thing. I might be able to fix this up. And the deeper they look, the more they'll uncover.
It sounds like more work than it's worth to me, but hey, man,
it's fun. Anyways, so my goodness gracious, I unfortunately did not see the new episode of Secret Invasion, Grumble Grumble. What was it, episode 2, I believe, is where I'm at. Great episode. We have My Adventures with Superman, talk about, which I really enjoyed. My goodness gracious, we have Quiet Place 2. We have the long-awaited battle nerds between Air Bud and Godzilla. I'm sure we can fill the airways with 2 hours of onomatopoeia noises. Nerdy onomatopoeia, yes.
All right. Well, yeah. As always, we generally like to start with nerdy news.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and jump into that. Obviously, the big thing everybody's talking about, I pulled a couple of things from it. But there's so much to talk about. I don't think we'll ever be able to go into all of it.
Mm,
But obviously, is the writer strike. The
yeah.
actors have now striking with the writers.
Right.
There's all sorts of stories going around.
This is going to suck.
Yeah. The two stories I pulled is no surprise, Deadpool 3 has stopped filming.
Yeah. You know what sucks is that this comes a day after they release the behind the scenes footage where it shows Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds and their stunt doubles having this fight near like an old like a collapsed 20th Century Fox marquee. So it sucks that we got this and it got me excited. And then the next day they go on strike, and like even so.
Now, what did you think of the new costumes anyway? Like a lot of people been talking about it.
I loved Wolverine. I love. It looks great. I love the color. It's vibrant. It
doesn't have it's classic comic book Wolverine.
Yeah.
The yellow and it doesn't have the trunks. And then it also they gave him arms.
Yeah.
Whereas normally he's sleeveless.
Sleeveless.
The reason for the arms is because he's highly susceptible to skin cancer, so they keep him covered. But the trunks. I mean, where do you land on superheroes and trunks?
It depends on the character. I mean, we've seen them with trunks. We've seen them without trunks. It just depends on your design. Like, if you can pull it off with the trunks, then it looks great. Just don't make it look like...
Obviously, Superman was kind of the OG, and his was because they were trying to make his costume look like those classic circus strongmen.
Yeah.
And they wore the skin-tight stuff, and then they would put the trunks on over it.
Yeah.
So that they would, like, cover up their junk a little bit.
Right.
And the Wolverine costume is clearly, derived from that legacy.
Yeah, right. I'm just glad they got the colors right. Yeah, I like that they went vibrant. They didn't, like, grayscale it down or anything. It is a vibrant yellow. It is a vibrant blue. It pops. It's catchy. I like it.
What about Deadpool?
So, Deadpool's Deadpool. I didn't...
Well, they changed it up. A lot of people are saying they hate it.
I didn't notice any difference with Deadpool. What did they change? Maybe I was just I was too distracted with how cool like Hugh Jackman looked as Wolverine. To be honest, I just saw the red and there's Deadpool. Like we've seen 1,000 Deadpools, but holy shit! Finally,
it's very much more bright than the other one. They kind of like you said with Wolverine, they made it vibrant and pop more.
Right.
They did that with the Deadpool costume.
Okay.
A lot of people are saying it's a downgrade. Some people are saying they love it. So I mean, a lot of mixed.
I mean, we haven't seen the final product yet, so maybe there's some lighting or what. Maybe it's like that for some lighting reason.
You're totally right. I mean,
so
judging a like unfinished shot of them in costume without adding all the shit on top is kind of
plus if you look at where they're fighting, like it looked pretty bleak, so maybe it was intentionally like that so they stand out more. I mean it. There's 1,000 different reasons.
It's hard to judge, but I think both costumes look pretty good. I'm pretty excited for the film. It's a bummer it's been put on strike. They've declared that they're stopped filming until the SAG-AFTRA strike ends with fair pay and working conditions for the actors.
Yep.
Additionally, along those lines, the other story I pulled is Disney is having fictional characters walk the red carpet of the world premiere for Haunted Mansion due to the studio's inability to give actors fair pay and working conditions.
Okay, so Mrs. Cap actually worked...
Aren't they still actors, though? Like, that's the one part. I guess they're not SAG actors, are they?
I don't know, but Mrs. Cap worked the red carpet premiere last night at Disney, and...
Oh, really?
I didn't... It was one of those late nights. I had a really long day yesterday. Came home... sort of put everything down and just had enjoyed my quiet time, man. It was just one of those days yesterday. But I thought that she was going to be spending the night at her parents' house because she was getting off late and it's close to her parents. But woke up this morning, there's a girlfriend in the bed. It's like, ooh, that feels like a butt. That's awesome. But she hasn't told me many details yet. I'm excited to hear it. She says
random person in the bed.
Right. It's some homeless guy. So I haven't gotten too many details from it. She did tell me that she did get to see almost the entirety of the movie. She said she really enjoyed it, and there's funny in moments. As long as it's better than the first one. I didn't like the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion. I thought it was just awful.
Didn't see it.
It was.
I didn't even know there was a Haunted Mansion movie being premiered. I had no idea until I read that. I just
So
thought it was interesting that they're using their fictional characters instead of the
yeah,
actors.
so she told me that she saw, my goodness, who was it? Who was it? Holly Madison. I don't know who that is, but she saw that human. Again, I haven't had a chance to really talk to her about it because she just woke up briefly before we went live. She said hi to Mr. Frosty. She went about her way. But yeah, I didn't know that. I heard that the Oppenheimer cast walked off the red carpet for its premiere,
Yeah,
which I'm excited for that movie. But
I think what's her name, Lena Headey or whatever.
mm,
She played Cersei in Game of Thrones.
mm,
Like I don't know, like not just her, but like a lot of people have been talking about like the residuals for things,
yeah,
and they're making like $20 on residuals for like popular shows.
mm,
And it's like, and they're like, well, this is unfair. Why is it so low? And then I think it was Ron Perlman. He posted a tweet saying like, the CEOs used to make 30 times what the regular people made,
mm.
and Bob Iger is making 400 times now what regular people make who
So
work on these films.
did you hear Bob Iger? Did you hear anything from Bob Iger's interview about this?
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of all over the place. Like he's like, oh, we simply can't afford to pay these
Oh,
people
fuck off!
what
8
they're
ways from
asking.
Sunday, you jackass.
And he's
Ugh.
like, yeah, it's like his bonuses are going to be like 5 times the amount and all this
Right,
kind of
right,
stuff.
right.
And,
For his, so here's the thing: a corporation only cares about one thing, and that is money. Period. So they don't care about gender politics. They don't care about anything.
Yeah.
They care about your money. And if there's a technology that they can utilize where, hey, we can do this, a monkey can do this in a closet using AI, that means that we don't have to pay an entire team of people to do this one thing that a computer can do. You bet your sweet bippity they're going to invest in that.
another actor I heard was talking about about how they had to do these full body scans.
Yeah. So you know what's funny? I did this at the theme park I used to work at, right? So they actually did a 3D rendering. I mean, it's pretty cool. And the guy gave me his business card, and if I ever wanted to reach out to him to get the file, I could conceivably take that file and build my own action figure. It's conceivable, but it's interesting. But it's
They were saying that, like, they were like, well, why are we doing this though for this show?
right.
And now they know why. It's because the studio can essentially use AI now,
Right.
and they just feed them the body scan, and like the whole thing is their careers are going to be gone,
Right.
because like they're realizing, oh, we don't have to pay actors anymore.
Right. So you know what's this kind of reminds me of, and we're teetering in a like uncanny valley. But if you remember it's actually one of our Behold Nerds a while ago, the Final Fantasy movie. It was this really expensive movie to make, and they actually built their own animation studio in Hawaii with the intentions of creating digital actors. And whoever the main character or whatever, Aki Ross, Dr. Aki Ross, they wanted to take that character and use that character as an actress in other animated movies, because they spent all this time with the hair and everything, just really going into all this detail to make this character, this model. Well, shit, we spent $100 million making this model. Let's plop it into other movies. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. But, it's interesting now to see 20 years later how they're doing exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just funny how...
Well, then also now with AI, though, you don't even have to pay the actors to voice the things.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, so, I mean, I don't know, anytime I think of AI, I always think of that scene in Jurassic Park where Jeff Goldblum is going off. He's like, before you know what you had, you packaged it.
Right.
That scene, like,
right.
Just replace dinosaurs with AI and it works perfectly.
It's amazing how this just exploded within the last year or so.
Well, it's always been there, but like he said, they stood on they took what other people did. And,
they do. They packaged it.
Yeah, no, and I mean, the thing is, it was like when it first started coming out, it was all shit,
Mm.
and I was like, oh, I got nothing to worry about. And then like in a month, I was like, oh, like it learned how
Oh,
to draw very, very fast,
right.
and then like,
Once it got plugged in, it learned.
and no,
Um,
and I mean it's affecting like schools because obviously like kids have figured out, well, I don't have to like do
do
anything
homework.
anymore.
Right.
Like,
Right.
yeah, it just does it for me, and like, yeah,
So,
some teacher was like, he figured out all the students had like half of his students had used Chat GPT for their exams, and so now he's having them all
like,
write
retake.
their things by hand.
I mean, that.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, you could still chat GPT it and then just handwrite copy it.
yeah,
But,
it's. I mean, yeah,
so here's the thing, because, and we've talked about this, I have used AI art generators to help me with quantum a little bit, but it's a placeholder. It is a lot of the stuff that I've generated isn't quite what I have envisioned in my head, but it's close enough to where if I were to hand you a picture of this AI thing and be like, hey, it's sort of like this, but with this, then an actual human can come along and
I
conceivably.
get like using it in conjuncture with things like you could just like you want to do Supergirl, so you say, draw me Supergirl punching Wonder Woman or something, and it does, and then
Right.
coming in and then using your own artistic stuff to like work with it and
Mm.
stuff like that. So I do think AI could be used as a tool, but the problem is it's like it's got so many problems inherent in it. It
I mean,
needs to.
it does, but I mean that's sort of technology. Is here's this thing. How do we apply the thing within the moral framework of our society? So
I get that, but when everybody involved in this technology, like everybody that created it, developed it, and like the guy who's known as the godfather of AI and all that,
mm,
are all coming out and saying, holy fuck,
right,
stop, 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 stop.
right,
That is where I change my opinion on that stuff.
right.
Because I understand what you're saying. Oh, new technology comes along and oh, it replaces, and we've seen this a billion times throughout history. This is not normal. This is like the creators of it are like, no, dark days are on the horizon.
No,
We need to figure
I
this
mean,
out.
you could say the same thing about the atomic bomb. I mean, so
Mhm.
I do hear what you're saying, and I do agree with it. And this goes back to what I said a few minutes ago. It has advanced rapidly in the past, I'd say, like year and a half. It is really taken off, and now you have, my goodness gracious, Adobe has, in conjunction with Photoshop, has like an AI art thing.
Yeah. Well,
Grammarly,
I mean, it always has, and I mean that's the thing people don't realize. Like all these, like Google's been using AI forever,
mm,
and Adobe's been using AI forever. I mean, like it wasn't like, I mean, a long time ago, you were able to go in and cut out something in a photo, and then the AI would try and redraw in the rest for you. It's not new,
mm,
but what's happened recently is new,
mm.
and that's what I mean. And like I said, I think, yeah, I mean, okay, you're comparing it to the atomic bomb, but I mean, the atomic bomb, that was the work of like one guy. This is like spreading like a freaking like
Yeah.
plague, basically.
It's
And
Skynet. It's Skynet.
yeah,
We
I
are
mean, well, I don't know.
we are in the infancy of Skynet. It's
Well, I mean, you know the difference between oh god, what's it called? AI. There's another word for it, but and
yeah,
then SAI.
yeah. So AI just does what it's told. It's
Yeah, so
yeah,
Skynet is SAI,
right,
which we're still like miles from creating.
right.
Um, but I mean, that's like the movie Chappie delved into the differences between those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But so yeah, strong AI is Skynet. So we're ways off from that. We're in this stupid AI
Right.
that
We
is
are in
like
the
dumb, but
infancy.
also.
Right.
Although I've heard some crazy shit though. Like there's this one AI program, and it figured out it couldn't do something physically in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard about this.
No.
I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the story entirely. But do you know what TaskRabbit is?
I think I've heard of it, but
It's an app. Basically, you go on TaskRabbit, and if you were like, "Oh, I can't I need someone to wait in line for me at this event, and then
Mhm.
and so you hire someone to wait in line. Basically, you hire a person to do a task.
Okay.
So the AI figured out it needed someone to do something physical in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
So it downloaded TaskRabbit and then sent a message to someone, hired a human to go and do that physical thing so it could continue doing what it wanted. That's terrifying.
That is wow. That is terrifying. So
Yeah.
I heard of one. This is a simulation of a simulation. So preface with that. So a simulation of a simulation where an AI had to contend with some type of military threat. And what did it do? It determined, well, in order for me to do this, I need to take out the human who was in charge. And, in the simulation of a simulation, the AI took out its human operator in order to achieve its goal. So that.
What we need to do is we need to like hack into Chat GPT and all these things
Hmm.
and then have it play tic tac toe against itself.
Yes.
That'll solve things.
Done.
No, I don't know, dude. It's I understand where the actors are coming from. I agree with they need to protect themselves. I think artists should be protected for
Right.
AI like stealing their art and learning from their art. And people are like, "Oh, well, a human learns that way. Like you find an artist you like." But yeah, a human isn't like doesn't learn it like and now I can do it. You know
Right.
what I
It
mean?
takes
Like,
it takes practice. Yeah.
yeah.
But then you take what that person did and you make your own version of that. It's like a
Yeah.
succession. It's
You develop
it's
your own
yeah, you develop
style.
your own interpretation of all deriving from the style. Yes, it isn't a mimic of it. I guess
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
it's crazy. But anyway, what interesting parts of this strike have you guys heard? Are you
So
like us? Are you on the side of the actors and
so
screenwriters? Or
I don't like it. So Bob Iger, my goodness, he came out and he said, "Well, it's unfeasible to meet their demands." Disney profited 24 billion or something last year. So for everybody who's saying, "Oh, Disney's going bankrupt," no, they raked in like over 20 billion in profits last year. They can afford 100 million of that to pay what essentially or what all these people are asking for. I think equals up to about 100 million. I think
Mhm.
you can afford that. You greedy bastards, greedy bastards. Holy shit.
Yeah,
So
the thing that people don't realize is like most actors are not like these, like Hugh Jackman level people. Like they're these like small, like a friend of the show, Megan Anderson. She's an actress.
right.
You know what I mean? She's not like the huge. She gets bit parts in
Yeah,
movies and
yeah, yeah.
TV shows.
Like background. So what I heard is that, and
Not
this
just
is
background. She gets speaking roles too. But
no,
I
no, no, no.
mean,
So what I'm saying is, fellow nerd Adrian posted this in our chat, and then Dan had commented on it yesterday, where they want to use AI generated background character, like just background extras instead of paying extras. I can see a studio wanting to, hey, here's another way to save us money so we get more money, and that's what it is. They're finding ways to trim the fat in their eyes so more money is generated, but that money isn't getting recirculated back out. It's all being scooped up from
it's like
the pantheon.
yeah.
Yeah, and
I mean,
that's the
artists
problem.
already struggle, and I mean, it's like, hey, let's make them struggle more.
Right. So
I mean,
I think
don't
so. Here's and I'm kind of in. There's a story, there's a movie in here somewhere, but I can envision a future where corporations in the future are run by like 5 people because AI and automation takes care of all of it. So take something like Lego. All Legos are built in a giant autonomous factory. Yes, you need people to do some maintenance thing, but it's essentially autonomous. You don't need a lot of people to control it. And as things advance, you're going to need less and less people. Still raking in all that money, maybe even more money, but you start trimming away because automation and AI is just taking over those roles to where eventually you just have 10 people running, let's say, Pepsi or Disney. at the corporate level, and they're just scooping up all that money, and they have to share less. I think
See,
there's a story in there.
that's the
That's a premise.
okay, but see, that's the issue, isn't it? Because like, let's say you have a company, and let's say the company you build a product, right?
Right.
So you have a factory, and you have 30 employees, and then all of a sudden technology comes out. Well, now you only need one employee.
Right.
The 29 people lose their jobs. You have that one employee running the machine. But when you think about it, like, so that leads to a dystopian future because fewer people getting paid, these people don't have jobs,
Right.
blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But when you really think about it, there's no need for any of that. Like the amount of resources never changed.
Yeah.
It was just the amount of people required to do the task has changed. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that in order for us to, if our society keeps progressing the way it is, we're going to have to reach a solution where, and some people are saying like, minimum income from the government, something like that.
Right.
Because there's going to be, let's say, like all of our like physical labor is taken care of by machines. Great. That should be a good thing. We should be able to like chill out now and do stuff that like we care about. Like, I want to research quantum physics. Great. Do that, buddy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like right now with our current system, that's not going to work. So
no.
I don't know. We've talked about it before. I advocate for a resource-based economy, but that's a whole rabbit hole. Let's get back into the fun stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so this is James Cameron. There's been a lot of people since the Ocean Gate disaster, which I thought Ocean Gate was like one of those things where they were like
Pizzagate,
yeah, or Comic Gate and all those kind of things.
Pedophile submarine parties.
I was like, wait, that's actually their name.
Right.
But anyway, since the Ocean Gate thing happened, people have been saying, oh, he's going to make a movie. So he came out and debunked it. Direct quote, I don't respond to offensive rumors in the media usually, but I need to now. I am not in talks about an Ocean Gate film, nor will I ever be. Yep. I mean, it would make sense that if someone was going to do it, it would be James Cameron since he's the ocean guy. But
right,
like,
but the movie
he's
would
the
be over.
Aquaman of directors.
He is, but I mean, the Titanic sank in 2.5 hours. This submarine collapsed in on itself in about 0.2 of a second.
Yeah,
probably a lot faster than.
There's still a story there.
I guess. Yeah, just the kid.
It would be about like the CEO not using the right, because like he used.
Yeah.
Why did he use?
Follow the stepson who ended up going to the Blink-182 concert. Follow him.
Yeah. But or like you use fiberglass instead of titanium.
Yeah.
Fiberglass gets weaker every time they go down, whereas titanium actually gets stronger.
Yeah.
He's ignoring regulations. So you'd have like the lead up, the accident, and the fallout.
Yeah.
That's how I would make that movie anyway. But
yeah. I think it'd be in bad taste. Give it a few years.
No, I mean, I think I think a documentary is definitely on the horizon.
Yeah, but
because that's how these things go. But and I mean, I see why people are bugging James Cameron. He's not going to do that.
No.
He's busy with his blue people.
He's got Avatar money.
Yeah.
Disney Avatar money.
Okay, so this is interesting. Craig Mazin confirms The Last of Us Part 2 will be split into 2 seasons for the HBO series. Direct quote, the show will not end with season 2 unless people don't watch it and will get canceled. So they're planning to take season 2, split it into 2 seasons. So it looks like Last of Us bare minimum is going to be a 3-season show unless it gets canceled.
That you know what that tells me is that they're going to do the thing that's going to make everybody mad, which is good, and they're going to see what the fallout looks like, and then if
but
they still have...
how does it? Because it works different in video games.
So
right, but Pedro Pascal is the big draw for the series. So how do you do the thing? Spoilers, just to everybody out there. In order for the show to follow the video game, they have to kill Pedro Pascal.
Yes.
Which,
brutally.
Yeah, well, besides being brutally, I just don't get how it works different in TV. Like people aren't going to tune in for the Pedro Pascal show without Pedro Pascal. We've seen it too many times throughout history where a major character leaves the show. They try and keep it going without him. It doesn't work.
So here's my solution: you bring in Norman Reedus. He will guide the franchise, the promised land. Now that Walking Dead, I think, is over with, unless he's getting another spin-off. See, I think to deny that happening in the show is to sort of forget what the whole purpose and like the overall theme of The Last of Us is, which is actions have consequences, dude. Yes, you did this thing, you acted in this way, and guess what? It affected other people, and that pissed off a lot of people, and your actions have consequences. Here they come.
I get what you're saying artistically, and I'm just confused as to how, because there's like the artistic side of like creating TV and movie, and that's kind of more pure, and then there's the reality of it.
Right.
And the reality of it is like, how are you going to pull this off?
I don't know. I'm going to leave it to the... Actually, I can't leave it to anybody because they're all on strike. So tune in 2035 after the smoke is settled, and we will get CGI Pedro Pascal.
Talking about that. Ron Perlman was talking... I know we're jumping back to the previous story, but he was talking about how I guess there's a rumor that like the CEOs are just going to wait until the actors and writers have to go back to work, otherwise they start losing their houses and stuff like that. And like, yeah, Ron Perlman was like, "You're just such scum," like, you know, like.
So I mean, I don't. Is it wrong for me to assume that if you're making that much money, that, I mean, certain political factions will say, well, you should save your money, you should be fiduciarily responsible, and fiscally responsible. You should have your money. You should have enough money saved up to handle anything.
These people that are making all this money, I mean, most of them don't make lots of money.
Shh.
Being an actor and a writer is a struggling profession.
Shh. Don't say it out loud, Frosty. But they should have enough money left over to handle anything that life throws at them, Frosty. And if they can't, well, they should have picked themselves up harder by the bootstraps and just carried on their way.
I'm surprised the people in the submarine didn't pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. That's what I would have done. Submarine.
It's terrible. No, it's a shame, dude. And this ties back to the documentary that I saw about American Gladiators last week, where they sign a contract in perpetuity. There's no growth. It's just you make this money. And any toy sales, any other like things on the back end, you're not entitled to. Here's your paycheck for doing this thing. The corporation, gets everything else. Oh, you want a nickel off for every purchase? No, that is our money. That is studio money. You work for us, actor.
Yeah, again, there's ways you can protect yourself with that kind of stuff. Like I learned about when I was doing graphic design. Problem is, like, I don't know, it depends on the company you're working with. But yeah, I do believe that once, like, the guy who created Wolverine is the one who always comes to mind. That guy, like, had nothing. Right. And it's like, okay, Wolverine is now, like the biggest superhero ever. I mean, besides the top three.
Right. Well, it's like, I met Rob Liefeld, the creator of Deadpool. And I don't think he gets any, like, runoff from that either. He's just the creator.
Get that guy. I know this is like a random like tangent, but I don't get him because he swears Deadpool is not derived from Deathstroke.
Yes, he is.
But he clearly is.
Wade Wilson, Slade.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so like apparent that like, how are you like, no, that's not true. Like,
I think there was a point when I was younger where I thought they were the same character. When he was in the gray suit Deadpool, when I was younger, when I saw him in the gray suit for a second, I thought
I remember gray suit Deadpool. I don't remember why he suddenly started wearing a gray suit. You ever go back to look at 90s versions of characters like Thor and Wonder Woman?
They're silly.
Like for a while, Jubilee was a vampire and shit like that. The 90s was just such a crazy era.
It was radical.
Anywho, what do you guys think for The Last of Us though? Part two. Are you excited? I mean, it sounds like they're following the movie. I mean, the game. Not sure how it's gonna pull off. You know, one of my favorite things I saw was someone posted this like meme. It was like, "Wow, Last of Us was really great. That would make a really good video game." And like, it's like,
there's a
are they
whole
serious,
there's a
or
whole
is
scene that was straight from the video game where you're there with a sniper rifle and he's like shooting it with Ellie. Like that was straight from the
well,
game.
while we're talking Last of Us, do you guys like where it differentiated? Are you happy, or are you guys upset? Like Felder Joe and I were talking about Last of Us, and he is very adamant. Like he hated like episode 3. I thought episode 3 was my favorite.
Mm.
That was the episode where
The couple,
name? The couple, yeah.
yeah. That was probably the best episode until the episode with the mall happened. And
Yeah.
I think that one was just as good, maybe a little bit better, but for different reasons. But both were just phenomenal episodes.
But like my point is, like he was very adamant that no, if you're doing The Last of Us, it should be The Last of Us. In my opinion, once you jump mediums, like shit's gonna change.
Right.
You know, like the good. Did you ever see that movie? I forget what it's called. The one where it had the Predator cities.
Oof. I don't know.
Okay, so it's a movie. I can't remember what it's called, but the plot is it's like a dystopian future, and like London is a giant city on wheels, and like it comes in smaller cities.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name.
Yeah. Well, anyway, if you saw that movie, the movie didn't do well, but one of the obvious aspects of that, it was an adaptation of a book, and like so there's a character, and he's clearly, if you're reading the book, he's going to be everybody's favorite character. He's like this undead cyborg kind of guy. But so they were like, oh, we got to include this guy, but his story just, it slowed the movie down, and it kind of took the in a different direction. Books are bigger, you have much more breathing room,
Right.
and like you can go off on tangents, and it doesn't matter. Movies, you have like 90 to 2 hours, you know, like 90 minutes, 2 hours, and you, I mean, you can do a Zack Snyder, of course, and make a 4-hour film, but those are far and few between.
Right.
And so you're gonna have to make changes. I'm sorry, it's a different medium. Different mediums require different things.
Right.
So I mean, I just think kind of like calm down when stuff changes. While I understand that was like the most beloved character from the book series, he didn't work in the movie, and that was one of the big faults of that movie.
That's a shame.
Yeah, but that happens, you know. I mean, like,
yeah. I mean,
sorry
really?
for the snapping sound, everybody. I keep playing with this. I mean not to, but it's like maddening. I keep reaching for it and snapping it.
You know what you need? You need a fidget spinner.
Yeah, but that would still make sounds.
See, I've got my little stress rock here. I found this. I've had this since I was a kid. It's got a little divot there, and you can just sort of, yeah.
We do end up with, and I apologize anybody watching. When I watch the playbacks, I'm like, man, what the hell is that? So like, yeah, like you just moved your chair, so like that. We get a lot of those sounds. We are very professional.
So what we're saying is, for you ASMR fans out there, turn it all the way up, baby. Oh yeah.
You know what's weird? Speaking of ASMR, it's not totally ASMR. I have no idea why I'm so into this. There's apparently on YouTube, and I found my favorite one. This thing where like people find like the worst, dirtiest, grossest rugs ever, and then they clean them. That's the whole thing, and I am obsessed with these. I just watch it, and I'm like, oh yeah,
clean that.
Pour the water on it. Yeah, get it soaked. Get that first layer of dirt off. Yeah,
make it nice and pretty. So every once in a while,
South Park episode where Randy's watching all this cooking.
The cream fraiche. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
it is entertaining watching these things go. They like start, and you want them as dirty. I want the dirtiest one imaginable.
Right.
And the guy gets. He's like, it looks like a piece of the earth. It doesn't even look like a rug. And then like he cleans it, and by the time he's done, it's like a rug with like a clown holding balloons, and you're like, oh, that's a nice little kid's rug. He donates them to because like I'm watching this, and I'm like, at what point does this constitute just buy a new rug? You know what I mean?
Right.
And apparently he does it for the check because people like watching it. And then he does have a rug cleaning service, which he does professionally.
Hmm.
But the rugs that he salvages and then cleans, he just donates to animal shelters.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
I'm sure people aren't interested in listening about rugs, though. So
No, it's
let's
not about
move
listening to
on.
rugs. It's about watching him clean the filth. So,
It is. It is.
so I every once in a while I will happen upon videos of similar ilk on my Facebook. Like, you know what I like cleaning the rims of a car. Like the same thing where it's just grungy and they spray this foaming agent on it and they wipe it off. It's like the commercials that you see where it's like, oh, you spray the foaming action, you wipe it off, and it's all sparkly clean.
It translates into gaming too. One of like the best selling games recently was Power Wash Simulator, and all it is you go to some dude's house or something or their car, and then you power wash clean it in the game, and that's the entire game.
You know what it is? I think it's just most people have never used a power washer, and the idea of using one is actually kind of cool. I think
I've used them, but but that is a genre of game that does surprise me. One that I'm actually kind of interested in playing, and like it, everybody says it's addicting. Is like you go into it's a game. It looks like Halo kind of style game, right? It's like a space thing, maybe more. What's that game that was like a horror one in space?
Dead Space.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like, but
great
your
game,
job
by the way. Great game.
But all of that game is not the game you're playing. You're in that world, but no, you're the maintenance guy. And so the whole game is you coming into these like horrific, like there's like body parts, like someone scribbles like help us in blood on the thing, and then you just start picking up body parts, throw them in the bucket, turn them in the incinerator, get out your mop, clean the thing. So like someone help us in blood, you're just do.
So it's funny. I don't know how you took us down this rabbit hole. So I'm going to follow it up. So a while ago I was watching something somewhere, and if there's ever a violent crime or something at a residence that there's mess, the police don't actually. They will investigate. The crime scene people come out, but they don't
leave it. Yeah.
They don't clean anything. So there's actually professional cleaners who specialize in cleaning crime scenes. That blows my head. And it was following these people, and they were just normal people, like, oh, hi, oh, here's how we get rid of these stains. Oh, we got some of this. Oh, and every once in a while we'll move a thing, and there'll be some pieces. It just, oh God.
Yeah, there's a movie. Oh God, I can't remember the actor's name. I'm in my head. It's like Morgan Freeman, but I think that's wrong.
No, it's Morgan Freeman. Damn it.
But anyway, the plot is a guy that's his job, and he's talking about it at a party where they're like, "Wait, that's a thing? That's what you do?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he's like, and then he was like, and he explains how common it is. He's like, it's like, yeah, you have a grandmother, you have they die in their home, and then like it's just left, and then so you can hire us and we clean all that. And he explains like the breakdown of the process. It's just he goes in this monologue, and it's this horribly like he's talking to a party of people, and then they're like, and they're listening to how horrific it is, and like and how common it can happen just for people in your life, and then they're like, "Can I get your card?" And then like, he starts handing out his card at the party. But yeah, it's. But anyway, there's an entire game built on that, but it's set in like the Dead Space
universe.
Yeah, like I said, like it's a weird game because you're like casually cleaning up like helpless written in blood on the wall,
right?
And there's like body parts everywhere and stuff like that. So yeah, basically you're playing a game where your hero character has gone through the level, and like all that shit has happened,
right?
And like you're just coming along afterwards.
You're just the guy with the bucket.
Yeah.
So
and there's something just kind of like messed up about casually just like I said, cleaning up all these.
It's got to take a special fortitude of human to grow up and reach that point.
But the way you're so nonchalant,
right, and that's the thing. That there's a certain level of fortitude. Like certain things just can't phase you when doing something like that.
Yeah.
But if bringing this back on more of a fluffier note, this reminds me of the episode of The Simpsons where Bart doesn't want to do the lawn work, and they go to this convention. And there's the yard work simulator. Yeah, so it's like that. Like,
Yeah.
that's funny.
There's a lot of those kind of simulator things out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so where are we at? Amon Vellani. She's the actress who plays Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan. She's writing the new, or she's co-writing a new Ms. Marvel comic series titled Ms. Marvel: The New Mutant, which I'm not sure because historically she was Inhuman. They said they're not undoing that; they're kind of combining it somehow.
Okay.
Anyway, she says writing the new Ms. Marvel comic was, direct quote, way scarier than joining the MCU. I want to make it very clear, this is what I was saying, that they're not retconning her Inhuman origin, only there's a new label Camilla has to learn to accept. So maybe that means they're just lumping them in with the Inhumans.
Woke. I'm teasing.
The confusing part for me, though, is they were like, just like, it feels like yesterday, everyone was like, rabble, 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 they killed off Ms. Marvel. Oh my God, Ms. Marvel's dead. Rabble, rabble, rabble.
Right.
And then, like, anybody that reads comics is like, so,
Yeah.
she'll be back.
She's going to come back as something else.
Yeah, well, already she's writing this comic series, Ms. Marvel: The New Mutant, so she's already back.
Right. Of course.
And
so how does she die in the comics? I think you
I
mentioned
don't
it
know. I don't know. I think it had something to do with Spider-Man because he's holding her and he's like apologizing, if I remember right. I don't know. I'm behind on my actual pickups and reads. I'll get back into it. I go through waves. I mean, certain comics I collect because I have to.
Right.
And then other ones I read for a while and then I don't.
Right.
Anyway, but I mean, maybe if someone watching us, leave a comment or tell us now or message us on Twitter or Facebook. Let us know what the deal was with Kamala's death and what you thought. Also, are you excited for this new comic book? I mean, I probably won't read it, but it doesn't sound bad.
Yeah,
I think it's cool that she's getting to write comics now because she's such a big nerd.
Yeah,
I mean, they cast her perfectly because they cast a huge Marvel nerd into the to play a character who is a huge Avengers nerd,
right?
And so like the nerdiness worked perfectly.
So
and
you know what
like,
this in similar vein, the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie's coming out August 2nd.
Yeah,
it's was it Seth Rogen? Yeah, he's the
Seth
executive
Rogen.
producer, and he's also voicing Bebop. Perfect. Again, it's that same level of love for the franchise. This movie looks fantastic. I cannot wait for this movie.
A lot of people think it looks dumb. They don't like April O'Neil. They don't like the art style. I think all of it looks fine.
But see, it has that Spider-Verse kind of feel. But I've kind of
that's actually
what Spider-Verse did was it sort of opened up sort of that inner city sort of like graffiti art kind of style. Yeah. And I really like it. I like that style. I really, really like graffiti art. It's when I do my adventures, I usually find myself appreciating, admiring some really nice graffiti art. It's something that I think is just unnoticed because there's a lot of talent. And Spider-Verse sort of showed that kind of beauty, that the beauty and the color. Spider-Verse showed that. So we're getting that similar type of thing in Ninja Turtle. It looks great. I'm excited for it. And again, it's a different route, but taken from somebody who just has a love for the franchise. It looks great. I love that they are using actual, like, going full teenagers. They've never felt like teenagers in Ninja Turtles. They actually feel like teenagers in this one. And I like that. It's different.
Well, also, like, because you're saying like the looks are similar. Part of that is they're doing the same 12 and 24 frame rate thing that they did with Spider Verse,
Okay.
and they're doing that in this, where they do it. They have some characters at the slower 12,
Yeah.
and like Spider Verse basically made that like famous,
Right.
because that movie looked so cool.
Right.
And so yeah, they're doing that, and they're doing that in a lot of stuff now. But this movie's doing the same thing.
So I'm excited for it. It's a shame that people are poo-pooing on it. I think it looks great. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So I haven't seen this yet in theaters. It probably won't, just because of my health problems. I really want to. I know it. The couple of the Flash. Obviously, it's coming, looking like it's going to be the biggest box office bomb.
Even more so than Indiana Jones 5
in comic book history.
Wow.
Comic book movies.
Okay.
And there's obviously like a lot going against that film going in. One of them being Ezra Miller. It didn't look like it was going to happen. I don't know. I don't really want to get into the whole Snyder fans like gun shit. He didn't even make the movie. I know he changed a little bit to fit in with his universe, but whatever.
Right.
But anyway, news on that. It comes to digital on July 18th.
Okay.
So that's 2 days from now. So I'll probably see it this week. I'll probably just because I always think like, oh, do I really want to buy the movie? Not really, but like spending $20 at home is still cheaper than going to the theater.
Yeah. I mean, once you factor in everything, yeah.
Yeah, like especially with me, because I don't drive much, so I generally Uber there. So Ubering there and Ubering back, I've already spent like $40.
Right. So also,
anyway, so I'll probably
also the new Transformers dropped on Vudu for rental. I was probably going to check that out with.
Yeah, I was going to check it out as well. But anyway, so the other thing about this, and this is the part I don't get why they would try this. Maybe to make money when they haven't.
Assume that they want more money.
It's the first new release movie to debut on the NFT blockchain.
Oh God!
I thought we were done with NFTs, and
like, remember when fidget spinners were popular for like 2 weeks? Like those weird little.
NFTs are more like
no, but
Beanie Babies.
Okay, yeah, more like Beanie Baby. Okay, I'd put it more like a Beanie Baby craze. Just I thought we were over this. An NFT movie? What?
Yeah, but I mean, and also people are getting all their stuff stolen. Like,
right.
I think even Seth Green got his like, what are they called? The Yacht Ape Club or something.
Okay.
You don't know about any of that?
What is it?
The apes, the Yacht Apes Yacht Club, the Apes Yacht Club. Okay, so you haven't like followed the NFT stuff at all, have you?
Oh no, I don't care. I don't care at all.
I know, but it was interesting. It almost became normal people dunking them, and like the biggest part of NFTs is like these drawings of apes, and it's this like yacht club. I'm serious. Like Seth Green is in it, and like and they're worth like thousands, and then people are stealing their apes, and then like none of the words make any sense to anybody, and like some guy posted on Twitter like, what you don't understand about slurp juice is if you take one slurp juice, you can apply it to each ape. So where you had 3 apes, you now get 3 new apes in addition to the 3 you had. And it's like, what the fuck is slurp juice? Like none of this makes any sense. Why Ape Yacht Club? It's like word salad, but like these people are really into it, thinking this stuff is going to be worth thousands. I guess it technically is, but it like died instantly. The gamers were the big group that fought against it.
Right. Well, you're right. It is like the Beanie Babies, where here is this Beanie Baby. I choose to sell it for $300 because it's this Beanie Baby. I'm choosing it has no inherent value. We assign the value to it.
People that were making the money on Beanie Babies were the ones that were promoting that whole thing of like, oh, this is ultra rare and but like the actual people, like after a while, they just realized, wait, I just have a bunch of stuffed animals now that are worth nothing.
Right.
And like, yeah,
Such a
that did
weird
happen.
rise and fall with Beanie Babies. Like,
Well, I mean, like people will. I don't come at me with pitchforks. I just don't follow it, so I don't know. Why is Pokemon cards different? Like, because I mean, people are going nuts over these, and they're, oh, this one's worth $12,000 or some shit. And like people are like, they think they like can make a living off of this, and maybe you can. And
right.
people like I have friends that swear by this shit, and they were talking about getting a loan to open a store just so they could like get in on this Pokemon craze, and like I don't know. Anyway, I explain it to me if anybody knows. I'm genuinely interested.
So what
Uh,
it is people have a way of projecting value onto things, arbitrary things. I choose to this values to me $100,
right.
and I can try to convince other people that, hey, this thing is worth $100. Some people are going to be like, no, I don't want to pay $100 for that, but others might look at that and be like, yo, I've got $100 and that looks kind of fun. I want to give you $100 for that. It's weird how the brain works, but with Pokemon
Right,
cards,
but
no,
what
go,
I'm
go ahead.
saying is, how does Pokemon cards differ? Because people told me straight up, no, this card you would buy and sell it for this much, and people are beating each other up in parking lots because someone found a gold Charizard or some shit.
Okay,
What I'm
so
saying is, how does it differ from what happened with Beanie Babies, where Beanie Babies was all bullshit? Because
so
these are smart people telling me this. So
right,
I
so
mean,
so here's how let's put it this way. So at some point, the
we
first
know Target stopped selling them, right?
the Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Really? There's some on an end cap like the other day when I was there. I didn't know
Okay,
that.
then maybe I'm wrong, but I remember reading very vividly that Target, or maybe it was a different retailer, maybe it was Walmart,
Hmm.
said, we don't want any of this shit
I guess
because it was
theft.
getting violent.
Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't hear that. So, what? Here's a let's phrase it like this. So, I have this gold coin that gives me VIP access to the Elixir Lounge in Costa Mesa. Super cool, magic based, like tea bar, really pretty. Um, let's say I'm the first person to put this coin up for auction starting at a penny, okay? That now gets sent to the rest of the world. So it's eBay does this. People determine the price. So initially, you have people coming out, they're fighting over it, fighting over it, fighting over it, and eventually, let's say this thing ends up selling for $10,000. That puts into the world to the next person who obtains one of these. Hey, this is right now. People are willing to pay this much for this product that I also have. So why don't I put it out there? But you know what? After some research, I don't see anybody else putting it up there. So you know, I'm going to put this up, buy it now for $12,000, which is $2,000 more than the previous guy who did on auction. But I'm the only one who has one listed right now, so $12,000 it is, and somebody will buy that. So it's sort of like fluctuates until it finds like it levels off a little bit, and it sort of sets the bar as to how much nerds are willing to buy for said tchotchke.
No, I understand all of those factors,
Right.
but what I'm saying is there's like a lot of the time it's inflated bullshit, like we had with Beanie Babies.
So right. So
They were completely abundant,
right.
and there was no scarcity. So, but people are telling me that Pokemon is different.
No, it isn't. It's the same damn thing. It is the same
Well,
damn thing.
that's not that's my point. So, but you're saying that,
right.
but smart people that I respect and don't immediately just blow off are telling me it's different, and that there's scarcity, and like there's things, and like I said, people are getting violent over these things.
So
So is it different, or is it like what I would assume, just another version of Beanie Babies?
It is.
Like,
so
are these people because people are telling me they're making money off of this.
okay. So again, it's how much nerds are willing to invest to out nerd other nerds. Right. So again, these cards get released from the corporations for, let's say, $5 a pack.
I don't think you're
Okay.
grasping.
No.
My point.
I see what you're saying. It's just we attribute the value to these things regardless of their rarity. Well, there could be 10 of something. The popularity is what drives the value. If I have
Mhm.
10 of something and only 4 people like these things, there's not going to be much of a demand. Whereas if there's 10,000 people and there's only 10 of these things, they're going to fight and fight and fight to get to be the one who gets one of these 10 things. Because what happens is once you get one of these 10 things, you now become god tier in the eyes of other nerds. Holy shit, they've got that card. Oh my god, it's that. Now,
I guess, but like, are people being truthful? Are they making money off Pokemon cards? Because
oh,
nobody made money
I made so people made money off Beanie Babies to a point. Pokemon just has more longevity, and the reason why is because they're two different. One's a trading card game, so there's always going to be expansions and whatnot and whatnot. There's always going to be additions. Whereas Beanie Babies, it's just a plush toy. Now, yeah, you can do like the aquatic set, and you can have like it featured as sets, and I think they did that. Did they do sets as
Let's
Beanie
move
Babies?
on.
All right, I don't know. I can talk about this, but that's I get what you're saying, but
I understand collectibles and how all that works. I'm saying like these are those exceptions, and this one appears to be like a previous exception I've seen and another exception I've seen.
I think it
And
just has
I
longevity.
understand the NFT side of things because that got inflated not so much by nerds but by investors in the companies because they were like, "Oh, what are we going to do with the blockchain?" Like that's a whole different. So I understand why that one has its own thing. What's different about this? Because the NFTs that was part of let's get in like let's say
Right, but the difference is that it's a trading card game. So,
no I know but like trading card games don't use investors like with NFTs. You know, like if we became big and we had investors, they would go, "Oh, what
when
is
Frosty, when we become big,
right?" But I meant at the time when the whole NFT blockchain thing, they would, in order to get more investors, we would want to be like, "Well, oh yeah, we're on the blockchain and NFT blockchain," and then for a while it was like Meta, you know, with Facebook,
right?
and like all these were just buzzwords to get people to invest, and that's how that was getting artificially inflated. But let's move on. So
I
speaking, we
kind of
talked
like this
about him a
chat.
few. We talked about him a few times this week, today already. But Bob Iger, he says they will be reducing spending and creation on new Marvel and Star Wars content, which is a bummer in my opinion. Some people feel like there's already too much.
Let it
I don't know. I
breathe.
guess because I'm at dialysis 3 times a week for 6 hours, I'm always looking for something to watch. So,
Right.
you know, like if the idea that they're slowing it down is a bummer to me. And I, even when I don't enjoy it, I still think it's pretty good. And then every once in a while, I get something like Mandalorian and or Hawkeye. I thought was really good.
Yeah.
Secret Wars. There's stuff that just really knocks it out of the park.
So
WandaVision, I thought. Was
this ties into one of my nerdy rumors surrounding current head of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy. Some people have their strong feelings towards her. Apparently, she had a meeting with Iger on Monday where the two of them sort of went back and forth about successes and failures and whatnot. But are presuming people are presuming that Kathleen Kennedy has been fired. Apparently, her email doesn't work. Perfect. And she's going to be out of the office for quote unquote 2 weeks. So the rumors that this ties into Iger wanting to drastically reduce spending. And I like having because how they've done it was we'd have a Star Wars and we'd have a Marvel, then like maybe like a third thing like a Willow, but it was usually Star Wars, Marvel, Star Wars, Marvel. I like that, and I felt like there was enough breathing room in between, but if they are willing to space it out a little bit, because somebody I was watching phrase it this way, it started to feel less special. Like Star Wars should be this big, awesome, grandiose thing, because it's Star Wars. It should feel special. It started feeling less and less special, I suppose.
I think the issue is that like you take a franchise MCU, and what people aren't realizing is they were diversifying. you
Right.
don't have to like it all. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right.
And they make, oh, here's something for you,
Mm-hmm.
here's something for kids, here's something for families.
Right.
And the problem is like angry nerds of pitchforks are like, oh, this isn't for me. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be. Like there
Right.
can be multiple things.
Right.
And but I don't know, maybe diversifying though, I guess the downside to that is
It's an
you're expecting to
oversaturating
get the same returns,
right.
but you're not. It's like eh, all this is a pretty big nerd comparison, but you're Voltroning, right?
Right.
And instead of it being one Voltron, you're splitting into little lions.
Mm-hmm.
You can't put the same budget on that you would on a Voltron because these are the smaller lions, but
Right.
you could theoretically get the same back.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
My whole we are going to experience some pretty major
Look at my
changes
dog.
soon though because of
Luna.
very nice.
Yeah,
You're showing your dog.
No,
What?
she's doing a cute sploot. We call that the sploot. It's like that's adorable. I'm gonna put that on camera.
But no, it's we are going to see some changes, especially over in Warner Brothers Discovery, because their movies keep bombing, and obviously the Flash being a big bomb as a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how Aquaman 2 does, but apparently test screens have come back and like nobody liked it. So
Whatever. This is the final remnants of the quote unquote Snyderverse before we can finally move on with life.
yeah,
I'm ready to move on with life, and damn it, I can't wait to talk about it. My Adventures of Superman. I fucking love this show.
Yeah, a lot of people do for that very reason.
But yeah, it's so refreshing that
we'll get to it.
it.
So also, this is the last bit I have. The Boys spin-off Gen V.
Mm-hmm.
It's confirmed release date is going to be September on Prime.
Yeah.
You excited? I'm excited.
Yes. I can't wait. It's going to be the last season of The Boys we're going to have for a very long time on account of writer and actor strikes, guys. So it's just
Yeah, I really hope it's not going to.
this is going to be I have a feeling this is going to be a doozy because
No. I mean, I really hope it's not going to hurt because we were hearing all that stuff that Invincible is going to be out. We have a confirmed timeline.
Right.
Because I really want me some Invincible season 2. I really loved Invincible season 1.
Right.
I've rewatched it like 3 times already.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the show that anytime I'm like someone's kind of a nerd that like maybe would watch animation, I'm like, yeah, let's just watch this episode 1 of Invincible.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh hey, it kind of like feels like Spider-Man, right? And like, yeah, it's like Spider-Man, but with like a Superman power set. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like,
that.
yeah, and I'm like, it's sort of like kind of like there's something kind of off though, you know? And they're like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, and then it just started, and then that final like scene where Omni-Man, and then they always turn to me, why did he kill everybody? It's like, hi. I pull a Reading Rainbow on them. I'm like, if you want to find out more, you know.
That is
Butterfly
a
in the sky. I could fly twice as high. Make a wish.
This is Frosty. This is what it's like to be friends with Frosty.
Dude, I don't care if you're my age and you lived in the United States. It's built into your DNA to go. Na, 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 Reading Rainbow.
I can do anything. Oh yeah.
I always said they should come up with a show called Gaming Rainbow.
Go on.
Well, it's Reading Rainbow, but it's with games. I think the name like bring the guy back, you know?
Right. Okay.
They show you like the first part of Diablo 4, and they're like, if you want to find out more, go to your local game store and like pick up Diablo 4.
You know, it'd be good for that Mega Man X, where you have that whole like beginning scene where you're running around, you're being Mega Man, all of a sudden Vile comes down, you can't beat him, and you get your ass kicked, and Zero comes and saves you.
The more you play that game, it all that becomes the best part because it's just how long can I survive?
Oh yeah. I love it. I love it. But
I think it was Devil May Cry 5.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't know, one of the more recent ones. But in the beginning,
was this Twilight Dante or regular Dante?
I don't know.
Because
What Twilight.
they redid Dante, remember? And,
Oh yeah, but that everybody decided that was shit, and they just went, that doesn't happen.
right.
Uh,
Which is why
I
I
would
asked.
never talk about that version of Dante.
I had to just make sure for those watching at home what version of Dante you were referring to.
Okay, well,
Twilight
if we're
Lobo
talking
Dante,
we're talking
or Dante? Okay.
We're not talking weird reboot Dante that everybody pretended didn't exist.
Is Dante on our list of combatants for battle nerds? I feel like he'd be great.
Neither's Bayonetta. But I feel like Bayonetta is kind of the spiritual successor, although then this game came. Anyway.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the game, you fight the final boss, and he's supposed to kick your ass.
Right.
But technically, if you were good enough,
mm-hmm.
you can beat him. And then the game just ends with like, yeah, we did it. And it's like a 5-minute game. And like, could you imagine? Like, this isn't going to happen, by the way, because people always post videos of it happening online. You've already beaten the game. And so when you start the game over, you're powered up.
Okay, you're just stacked.
So you're watching it happen that online. Okay. I have yet to see a video where someone beats it as the weak version of the character.
Right.
But it is theoretically possible. And if you do, the game just ends with like, yeah, we did it. It's over. And like, it's kind of funny. Like,
that's awesome.
There's another game. It was Between Two Worlds 2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's an RPG. Like, but if you start the game and you run over to this area, you can see the final boss there, and you get him to chase you. Some of the villagers are invincible just because they're not supposed to die for the game to work. So you get him to chase you. You kite him back to those guys, and then you just wait while he fights them. And because they're immortal, they just eventually kill him, and then the game actually ends there because you beat the final bad guy. You can do it in like 2 minutes. It's like the ultimate speed run.
That's awesome.
Anyway, we went off on a crazy tangent, but are you guys excited for the Boys spinoff, Gen V? I am. But yeah, you're right. It's going to be the last Boys for a while. I really hope Invincible doesn't get affected. I don't know where they are in the process. Is everything like? Are they? Hopefully, they're in the editing side of it.
Right, because normally they do all the voice acting first, and then they do the animation. Yeah, so they've had I would imagine they had their everything recorded for the show about a year ago.
No, it's going to be writing and voice actors would affect it. So hopefully, all that's done.
Right.
Anyway, do you have anything else for news?
My goodness, can we talk about Superman? I want to talk about Superman.
Let's jump over to My Adventures with Superman. Episode 3 just dropped. So what did you think? I thought it was cool because we had the villains introduced: Silver, Banshee, Mist, and Roughhouse.
So I didn't know who they were. So the last episode.
You know Silver Banshee though.
Were they in Injustice? No, not in was it the other one that we were watching? Young Justice. Were they in Young Justice?
I'm pretty sure Silver Banshee's a major Superman rogue. I mean, like,
I'm sure I've seen her.
She's usually different though. She usually looks like an undead kind of character.
Yeah.
And she's and like that's her power. And in this,
she's got the tech mask.
She wears the mask, and then you see some skull socks though she's wearing. That's like the hint to the character she was.
So
we've also got Deathstroke in the series. People were complaining about him because he looks so different.
So it for the last episode.
Well, hang on. So Miss Roughhouse and Silver Banshee in this episode, they kind of fill in. That's this world's inner gang, which inner gang in the comics is like. It's been so varied, on different comics, TV shows, movies. It's kind of fine.
Right.
I don't care.
Right. But, what was I going to say? So last episode, the first real, like, Superman rogue that they started off with, I'm watching it and I was thinking, is that Livewire? So it was confirmed. So that was Livewire because I was watching it. So
it was Livewire and Slade.
Yep. So I'm okay with Slade right now. Everybody's younger. Guys, chill the fuck out. They're telling the story from the beginning, and I really, really like it. I
Yeah,
like that
I
it's
like how it's this.
discovering of he doesn't know who he is. The interview was
Yeah,
Superman.
it's a young Clark Kent. He's figuring out who he is, not only as like working for the planet, but also he's kind of learning how to be a superhero
Right,
as he goes.
right.
Um, they're doing a kind of anime style thing where it's like he's unlocking powers as he goes, and he's
Yeah,
unlocking them when he most needs it. Like, oh no, the
the
ice
ice
thing. Oh,
thing,
what
and
do I do?
but they hint with
Heat
the
vision. Yeah,
right.
and like the other thing they're doing is those crystals that like relate to him seem to be what's giving everybody their powers.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of did that with Smallville, where for I think that's going to be detrimental to the series if they keep it up too much.
Mm,
Because in Smallville, well, I used to like love that show. I kind of stopped watching towards the end, but
right.
in the beginning, it was like every week, oh, this villain got his power from kryptonite. How? And it was like all the villains got their powers from kryptonite,
Oh,
and so each week it was a different kryptonite villain. Hopefully they don't go do that with this, where it's each week it's another crystal villain or a Kryptonian tech villain.
yeah. Hopefully
But
not. I mean, I
but I am seeing I'm spouting a couple of things, not even negatives yet, just potential things I could see.
mhm.
Like you, I have all but praise for this show.
I
It's
I don't know why I'm loving this show as much as I am. It feels refreshing. It's Superman. He doesn't feel dour. It's da 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 da. It's that. It's just younger. He's coming into his powers. I love it.
Yeah,
Because
and no, I mean it is like you said, it's light, it's hopeful.
right,
One of the things I loved is after that big fight, and you're watching, you're like, wow, like Metropolis is getting trashed. He then flies around cleaning everything up.
right.
One of the things I also really enjoyed because it kind of made me think of Superman One, the movie,
Mm-hmm.
where like Lois is trying to chase him down for an interview, which is very much a plot point in the show.
This did
Um,
remind me a lot of the uh, Reeves Superman, like the original. They had
Reeve,
yeah,
by the way.
Reeve. Sorry, Reeve. Christopher Reeve. It reminded me of that. This episode. It had that vibe to it.
But I think what they're playing on though specifically though is in that movie he came out and he said, okay, let's do this interview, and he
Mm,
explains his powers and his weaknesses,
right.
and that comes back and bites him on the ass in that movie.
Yeah.
In this one, he's like, I don't know, and he's like, I'm just learning. Goodbye.
Right.
And so like he doesn't reveal anything to her
Mm,
really,
mm-hmm.
other than I'm here to help or something like that.
Right.
And so I kind of thought that was an interesting critique almost on that old school movie.
Right.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it. This is
So
family friendly.
my favorite scene of this episode, and probably one of my favorite scenes of like Superman that I can is the blimp crash. So it's your classic air vehicle has an accident. Say somebody's going to fall and then have to deal with the debris and whatnot. Superman comes in, he deals with it, and he's rescuing the guy. But then there's this like giant like girder that's coming down, and then you think it's going to crush the girl, but nope. Superman caught it because he's Superman.
Yeah.
So here he is in tow with the guy holding up a girder. He's Superman, and that's. And I try to incorporate that into my pitch where you have several different things going on, and it's like, well, what's he going to choose? It's Superman. He can do all three, and that's Superman. He is above all else. It's Superman. He is capable of doing those things. So we kind of saw an element of that in this. I loved it.
People are complaining that he's a weak Superman as well, but again, he's
Shut
starting.
up! God, he's coming into his powers, you monkeys!
But no, like the one thing I will say, like okay, so a lot of people like it when Superman's in these kind of more hard R stories. This is very much family friendly.
Right, but see, you use this as a platform to build up to that. Just
you could
do that.
but I think you need. I think you need a PG or G Superman, even if your world is a hard R.
Yeah, no,
Because-
absolutely. There's room for that.
Yeah.
There should be room, and you see this in all mediums. There is that darker path that you can go and explore, but there's this also. This is great. I love this show. I, I love the credits. I love the credits where it's just Jimmy going through his phone. You just see all the or his camera, and it's all the pictures scrolling by. Very anime feel. Like you know what this feels like? This feels like anime stripped out of all the tropes. It is a Superman.
It's got a little
story.
bit of an anime style.
It does, but it's a fun just. It's Superman. It's a young Superman coming into his powers. I love Jimmy. I think Lois is great. I love this episode with we're the Daily Planet news team. Like, it's fun.
Oh, yeah. The
this
Daily
guy,
Planet.
I'm on sports.
Yeah, like, they all are pretty close on, like, those characters, too, I thought.
Right.
Like,
it's great.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's great. One thing, I don't know if I talked about it last week, but Jack Quaid, he says All-Star Superman was the inspiration for his performance in My Adventures with Superman, which is a Superman I keep talking about. I just think he's a great amalgamation, and he's got that kind of that one nailed the Boy Scout. Right. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend checking it out. And also, it's supposedly going to be what's inspired. Oh, I forgot to put this in. I'm going to jump back to news real fast, although it's Superman news. But it also is supposedly what's inspiring Superman Legacy. Jumping to Superman Legacy real fast. Did you hear we've got 3 more actors confirmed?
No, I did not.
Isabella Merced, I don't know how to say her last name. She's going to be playing Hawk Girl. Some people are mad she's not a redhead, but like you could make Hawk Girl a redhead. And then someone like, oh, she's a Latino. I'm like, Hawk Girl is Thanagarian. Right. She's not Latino, African American. She's none of those. She's from Thanagar. She's whatever they have over in Thanagar.
But what kind of melanin do they have in Thanagar, Frosty? What is there?
I have no idea. I don't live there. Anyway, we got Eddie Gathegi. He was the guy who played the stupidest comic book movie death I've ever seen. Darwin. He played Darwin in the X-Men First Class. Do you remember Darwin?
Yeah.
He was the guy who can
change into
Yeah. The unkillable guy gets killed. What?
So
like it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. That bugged me so much.
As another just small tangent, I actually have an entire race of goobers in Quantum that are loosely inspired from Darwin.
Would you remember like when Darwin fought Hulk in the comics?
No, he fought the Hulk.
No,
he just adapted
because he was like, "Well, I can't die, so I'm going to fight World War Hulk." And like everyone's like, "Fuck." Even his powers, though, his powers won't let him die, and that's what's cool about him.
Right.
So what did his powers do? They're like, nope, and they teleported him to the other side of the planet. You don't fight the Hulk.
That's awesome.
Anyway, but
actually, you know, if that's in World War Hulk, because it's been a spell since I've read it. I actually have that upstairs. If it's in there, then I probably did read it. I just forgot it, but.
I loved it when O'Grady's Ant-Man, they like retconned it so that he was, because like he's always tiny, so they like took all the big stories from Marvel and they're like, oh, he was there, you just didn't see him. Yeah. And so like he was in World War Hulk and he was inside Hulk, like, and he was like trying to fight him from the inside. Anyway, but that guy that played Darwin, Eddie Gathegi, is I butcher all names, sorry, is Mr. Terrific. Which is cool. So we know Hawk Girl and Mr. Terrific is going to be in the movie. And then additionally, I think you're a fan of his, Nathan Fillion.
Yes.
He's going to play, and I think you're a fan of this character, Guy Gardner. So we know that Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, and Guy Gardner are going to be in the film. People are complaining because they were like, oh, well, he said it was going to be a story about Lois and Clark, and now it's too bloated. It's only Snyder fans that are complaining, but
how can that not be a Lois and Clark story?
Well, because you know how like sometimes when they put too many heroes in a movie, like, and we know
that
Guy
Gardner's it. Oh, you know what? So wholesome Superman would be
Gunn
a great.
Wait! I think Gunn said something about being a Superman solo film, and they're like, well, clearly it's not a solo film. The one thing he did say also, though, he was coming into a world where heroes already existed.
Right.
So maybe these are like in the background, you know.
Right.
I don't know. I do think Nathan Fillion. I do like these characters, so I'm excited to see him, especially Mr. Terrific.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I do like Nathan Fillion for Guy Gardner. People are like, "Oh, Nathan Fillion only plays himself." Bullshit. He plays pompous, stuck-up assholes very well, and that's what Guy Gardner is.
Yes. It would be interesting to see him play off of wholesome Superman. That'll be interesting. Look forward to that. Oh, the banter! I can already envision like James Gunn writing that in my head. Oh yeah, I'm excited.
You a Mr. Terrific fan?
I don't know enough about him. I know he's
Okay.
in comics that he's featured in. I just haven't read anything like.
He's basically DC's Reed Richards.
Okay.
And yeah, he's tech based. He has his terrific balls, and they follow him around. He often gets sidelined, he was in the Justice League Unlimited show, but they were like, that was because you know how they sidelined Martian Manhunter. Like, your job is to hang out at the Watchtower, and
Right.
you're so smart and you can talk to everybody, right?
Right.
And then like he was like, "Oh, I must go," and so he leaves. And then like they brought in Mr. Terrific, and he filled the same position. They're like, "You're really smart." And he's like, "Yeah," and they're like, "We'll do this." He was. Do you remember in Injustice? I think Batman tried to play him in chess or something, and he couldn't beat him.
Yeah. Just. I know
Maybe it
the
was
character.
Superman.
I know
It was
the.
Superman. Sorry.
Yeah. I know the character. I just don't know enough about him. But I mean,
All
that's
right.
cool. I believe in James Gunn. I love James Gunn's work. I like how I like his writing. I like his style. Fuck you. I'm right.
All right. But anyway, that was just I forgot to include that in the news, but it is a Superman.
So
story.
you know what? As I was scrolling through, I did see a thing with Nathan Fillion. So that's probably what they were talking about. I just didn't click on it at the time. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's perfect. Perfect guy Gardner.
Anyway, so it sounds like you're totally just shut up and taking my money. We'll probably talk about episode 4 next week, right?
Oh, of course.
Alright, cool. So, just so I'm taking my money from me, what did you guys rate it? Just so take my money. You got to do what you got to do, or are you one of those death?
It's a really fun, refreshing show. It's Superman. It's wholesome Superman.
You know what got me really excited though?
Mm.
This is the first of 2 shows we're getting. We're also getting the one that's going to be Batman, and it's the guy who made Batman the animated series.
Right.
And he's saying this is the chance to do all the stories I wasn't allowed to do.
Right.
If this Superman is this good, how good is the Batman going to be?
If they can go like this for the 2 of them,
well, I think that's the plan. Is they're going to combine them.
They
did it before,
right? I know.
Batman the animated series.
Right. Just I can't wait because this is a Superman that I would love to see eventually, like follow his journey to maybe go and fight Darkseid, or hell, if I were to be given the keys, we follow the Superman and the Batman and all of them. And then Injustice happens, and it's the same Superman we've been watching, but now, holy shit, he's dealing with tragedy. I want to follow this Superman.
Have you seen yet? So we've talked about it before. Have you seen yet All-Star Superman, the animated movie?
No, not yet.
It's not as good as the comics, but okay, that's going to be my pick for. I was going to pick a different film, but I'll do that for Bold Nerds now.
Right,
because we're talking Superman.
Yeah, let's jump into Behold Nerds because we've got. God, we've been chatty today.
Yeah,
love it.
I apologize for all the squirming I'm doing. My legs and knees and arms and everything is just hurting like crazy right now. I keep trying to like put a pillow in my chair, not put a pillow in the chair. I tried to like sit on a book thinking me ready to sit on something hard.
You know who's been surprisingly absent is Mr. Brimstone. Is it because you opened the closet door? Is he?
No, he's snoring away on his couch right now.
No, all right. That's what I was doing.
Actually, he's very still. I'm going to touch him to make sure he's alive. You alive?
No, don't.
He's definitely alive.
He's just chewing on your foot.
No, I touched his foot, and he went like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I don't know. Ever since I found my last cat passed away, he was very old, but it's still like, anytime I see a still animal still too long, I'm like, I can't see you breathing.
Right.
But Brimstone's all black, so he's just this black void, so you can't really see him most of the time. You just see eyes. Anyway, so yeah, let's jump into Behold Nerds. So Behold Nerds is our weekly kind of book club. We take turns picking generally movies, but also TV shows. We review them. We encourage you guys to review them. This week we chose, it was Cap's pick. He chose Quiet Place 2. I had not seen it. I don't think you'd seen
No,
it either.
neither
Right?
of us had seen it. I gave you some options as to what genre I would go in, what film I would choose, because I like to come in with several, and he chose something that neither of us had seen, so I chose A Quiet Place 2.
I know really we pick our show after the discussion, but I had planned to go with, because I heard Bird Box 2 is coming out tomorrow on Netflix.
You're going to do
So
Bird
Bird
Box?
Box is kind of like Quiet Place, only instead of like, oh, we can't hear, it's like you can't see. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, that works out perfectly.
Right.
But anyway, Quiet Place 2. So I had seen the first one, first experience, the second one.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts. I just watched it. Normally I watch them twice. I haven't quite put together my opinion yet.
Okay.
I watched the whole thing. I was entertained. No point was I bored. So points there. At the same time, I couldn't help but feel like the first one was better.
The first one was better. So this sort of ties into The Last of Us, where what happens if you take the main character and kill them off and continue. John Krasinski's character in The Last of Us is sort of like the Joel type character. In a way, he's the archetype
He's
of
the
that.
audience character. He's
Yeah.
the one that you're following.
So you kill him off in the end of the first one, and now you have the second one. It starts off with a flashback. Kind of implies where these goobers came from. The opening was interesting. I liked it.
Yeah, it was like, oh, they crashed here from space, but I think they already set that up more or less.
Yeah, but we got to see it. So they set it up, and now we get to see it. So
We saw day one, yeah.
Yeah, so we I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
There was a sort of Last of Us feel with that one guy going off with a little girl.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, so I definitely did get a little bit of, and then like, who's the real monster? Oh, it's the people that are left behind, the survivors.
Right.
And then, yeah, so there was a little hint to that. It was good. I don't have any fault for it. It's just I think the first one felt kind of refreshing and different.
Mm-hmm.
And so while this one just it didn't have that because it's a continuation of a story we already know, but it was still a good movie. I still enjoyed watching it.
Watching that poor boy get his leg caught on that trap it made every hair on my body stick up. Oh my god, I did not like that.
Tell you what, why I kind of the last one ended with like, oh, we killed one of them,
right?
And then she was like, and it was like, yeah, let's go fuck them up, and then like that was the vibe it ended, and then like
right.
And this one it was like, kinda. No, yeah. We're gonna go on boats and live on an island, and like because they can't swim,
right?
And I was like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Like we could still utilize that same tech that they discovered from the first one.
So I like that they did continue with that. So they discovered the weakness that they're sensitive to sounds and whatnot. You have the deaf daughter who takes her hearing aid, puts it up a speaker, gets the reverb. And we've seen this before.
Yeah, they used the Mars Attacks method.
Yeah, the Mars Attacks, or if you want to go back even further, the
I like that song.
Or if you want to go back even further, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, where they play Puberty Love, and that's the weakness of the tomatoes.
True, yeah.
Puberty Love. But anyways, I enjoyed it.
What song would you choose to kill your villain?
Friday.
Really?
Yep. It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Oh yeah.
I would do the oh god. I'm blanking, but I know exactly the song because it has there's a little high pitched beat. I'll come back to it.
All right.
If I can't pick that, then I would have Calling Out for a Hero just because I like that song. Right. And then they're like, ah! like and have the hero character riding his like bike with like
Yeah,
a
it
boom
was just
box
the
to
boombox.
it.
I mean, that's cool, but it needs to be something silly. I feel like it needs to be something like,
Yeah, I know. I just took it in a different
yeah,
direction now.
take like something like from like They Might Be Giants or something, or like the Aquabats, just something like that tier. But for those of you who are watching, what song would you choose to defeat the invading aliens in your sci-fi adventure in your head? Let us know. So, so what do you give it? I give it a shut up and take my money, but on the lower end.
Shut up and take my money. The thing I like about our system is it cuts to the core of it
Yeah,
because it takes away all like 1 through 10. Because it just shut up and take my money is like definitely enjoyed it and I'd watch more. Now, yes, I can really love a film or I can just be like, but it's still in that category.
yeah,
The you got to do what you got to do is kind of like I
yeah.
could take it or leave it.
Right.
And I think again that perfectly describes something. Death by Snoo Snoo Taxi is the one that I would think of
Oh my
for
god.
our viewing experience.
Oh.
No, that movie needs to die.
That movie hurt.
Yeah, that movie hurt. But anyway, yeah. So I would give it a just shut up and take my money. I think it was a solid flick. I enjoyed watching it all the way through. But do I think? I do think it is inferior to what we already had.
So here's the thing.
However, I still enjoyed this like epilogue, if you will.
Yeah, so it did
I
end
do
off.
think it is a bit of a disservice to the first one, though. I have to say.
So it
Because
did.
it is inferior, it does like it did fail at its job.
Okay, I did. I thought it was. I thought it was good. Again, shut up and take my money. I had this on while I was putting together my new grill, so it felt like one of those movies where I could have on and enjoy it in the background. Because I know the premise, and most of the movies it's silent anyway, so I can sort of just glance up and see what's happening. Which I do like that they did in this movie, where it kind of cut back and forth between the no sound at all from the perspective of the deaf girl to there being sound again. I like that. But it did set up for a third one. I'm going to watch it, the third one. I might not go to see it in theaters. I might wait a year and a half.
In theaters, no.
No. But would I wait a year and a half after it's released to maybe propose it for a Behold Nerds? Yeah.
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 All right. Well, as I said, I get to pick next. So I was planning on doing Bird Box too because it seemed like the logical thing. But with all the Superman stuff, I encourage you still to read All Star Superman because it's better than the animated movie. But the animated movie's not bad.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and take a look at All Star Superman.
Okay.
Yeah. So join us for that. It is pretty sure you can rent it on Prime, but it's also if you have Max, it's on there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty good Superman story. I'm almost tempted to do. I think there is a Justice League episode, but it would be more fun to do a comic one day to do for the Man Who Had Everything. That storyline, I just particularly like that one. Oh, where did I hear something about Warworld is coming?
Warworld
is
is
it
coming?
tying to this Superman thing? I can't remember. Oh no, that's what it is. We are getting a new DC animated movie. I watched the trailer for it. It's going to be Warworld.
Okay.
I don't know what I think about it yet. The trailer didn't get me hyped.
So Warworld is a Mongol, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's his story again? Like what's the whole thing?
I mean, he's like, I think he was a gladiator. He rose to the top, and so his whole planet is like basically entertainment. And he brings warriors, and then they compete, and kind of like a Planet Hulk kind of situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But he's the guy in charge.
Okay.
He's tough too. I mean, he's tough enough that like in that Superman story, I was just thinking from the Man Who Had Everything, like he was beating the shit out of Wonder Woman.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he was watching them discuss things, and then he's like, interesting. You guys almost have what appears to be intelligence. He goes, tell me, what's the based on your culture, which of you should I kill first? And then Wonder Woman goes up, and then she goes, bam, and then she goes, fuck. and she breaks her hand on him in her first punch. And he
Wow.
goes, "Oh, I believe you've answered my question." And he grabs her by the head and he basically killing her. Batman and Robin are there, and like Robin's like, "We gotta help her, Batman," and Batman's like, "What the fuck are we gonna do?" Like, like, he's like, "No, no, no, no. Superman's here.
Right.
He's got a plant stuck to his chest." He's
Okay.
like, "We need it," and he's like stuck in a trance.
Yeah.
He's like, "We need to figure out how to get the plant off him and how to get him back because he's the answer."
Right.
Like
This is
us
where we're
going
needed.
in and fighting Mongol is the stupidest thing you could come up with.
Right.
Um,
Just slapped him for that.
yeah,
Let's go fight Mongol. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I'll check it out. That seems good. We should probably jump into Battle Nerds because we have been extra chatty and going off on tangents today. But it's been a great
so
show. No, this is fun.
last week we had hilariously Lassie go up against Captain America. Lassie got a vote.
Yes.
Captain America destroyed her though.
Oh.
So hilariously, I like to think that he just threw his shield to him. That was the end of Lassie. So Lassie takes her dive on the list. Captain America moves on. I haven't updated the list yet. Sorry. But this week we so the game is you create a list of 100 iconic characters. Random roll to get the character, then you have to come up with a convincing argument as to why your character would win in a Battle Nerds. Rules are you can pick any version of your character, and we're kind of loose from there. But ideally, so I rolled up Godzilla. So I'm gonna go with the one that fought Dennis Rodman in the '90s advertisements. At least that was like basketball. Right. It's not a basketball match, but at least they got. At least my Godzilla knows how to play basketball.
He can throw down some street ball. That's what it is. You're right.
But he is still Godzilla though, so he's massive and he's Godzilla. He has light, the nuclear breath.
Right.
He's basically just Godzilla, except he wears goggles and he can play basketball.
Right.
So you've got Air Bud.
Air Bud. So I am going with just.
Really, you're the underdog here. So tell me, how is Air Bud going to defeat Godzilla? And tell us about Air Bud.
So Air Bud is, my goodness gracious, he has not only the best at basketball, he's played soccer, he's played hockey, his kids have superpowers. He is just any sport that you put him in, he will adapt, overcome, and win. He is beat. I think because of him, he has several world championships under his wing.
Also, just to point out, he's a returning champ. He defeated the Joker.
Yes.
In a previous Battle Nerds, I argued that the Joker would. I argued that the Joker would get his whole family dead, and then he would be all like miserable and stuff like that.
Right.
And then it would be he would pull an Injustice. He would have him kill
his wife and all of the little air puppies,
and
right.
Then he would bust through Joker's chest, and then there would be this evil Air Bud ruling some kind of society.
That's awesome.
But anyway,
so
Air Bud won. So this is the first fight for Godzilla.
Is it? Yeah. Oh, that's right. Kong went. So anyways, I believe so. We have to scale it a little bit because this Godzilla was able to go toe-to-toe with Dennis Rodman. So, because of him...
kaiju Air Bud. He's never had that ability.
No, I'm not saying kaiju Air Bud. I'm just saying if Dennis Rodman can play basketball against Godzilla, then Godzilla's going to have to be able to play play basketball against Air Bud. So no, stomping
but that
on...
was specifically a kaiju Dennis Rodman, though.
Oh, that's right. So you kaiju, yes, you kaiju Air Bud. So
you can't. It's never happened. You have to pick a version.
So
sorry.
All right, that's fine. So I guess mechanically, if we were just doing a basketball tournament here, how would
But look, I don't think it can be a basketball tournament because I don't see why they would be it's gonna come down to they're still battling.
Okay, so we're going for more than just a street ball battle. We're going for an
I
actual
just
death
picked
battle.
that version of Godzilla because he knows basketball, so I thought it was like last week I picked Cap Wolf. I didn't have to,
Right.
but why not pick a dog to go up against a dog? Now I'm going to pick a. So yeah, I mean, why they're fighting? I don't know. Maybe Godzilla defeated Dennis Rodman, and then he goes, and then he kills him, and then everybody's like, whoa, 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 that's not cool. Respect the game.
Right.
So everybody's gonna throw down against Godzilla. So how is everybody?
So
gonna
you know what?
possibly
I
win?
can see Air Bud somehow using all of the sports abilities, almost like a Casey Jones type character, where he uses all of his like combined sport knowledge to tackle Godzilla. So I can see Air Bud. You treat this as oh my goodness, what's that game? The Titan game. Help me. The really good game.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Shadow of the Colossus. So treat it like Shadow of the Colossus, where Air Bud has to parkour his doggy butt up this kaiju to find those weak spots, and because he's
But Godzilla doesn't have those.
he sure he does, because it's Air
No, he
Bud.
doesn't.
So I can see Air Bud treating this like Shadow of the Colossus, just crawling, just parkouring up Godzilla. Probably, I'd suggest going up the tail. That'd probably be the easiest, and maybe make it up to his head and just, I don't know, doing hockey pucks to the eyes or something. Just you tackle the eyes. You go for the eyes.
Oh man. I thought you'd go superpowers or something, because no, that doesn't have a hope in hell of working. I mean, like a blink would just be like, and he's dead. I mean, if he got to the eye somehow,
because he's Air Bud. He
doesn't have glowing weak spots. It's Godzilla. I don't even think Godzilla would rescue. I mean, would not rescue. Would understand that Air Bud is fighting him.
Godzilla's a bit of an idiot. Yes.
Not that he's an idiot. It's just I mean, he's not stupid.
Yeah, he's not smart. Godzilla's not smart. That's sort of the joke, is that he's the protector of Tokyo while simultaneously destroying Tokyo. He's not efficient in what he does. He's dumb in that sense.
I guess, but I don't mean. But I mean, he's not stupid either. But anyway, what I mean is, I don't think it would register, because everybody is just. It would be like, I don't know, if like a single-celled organism was like, I'm gonna attack you, Cap. You have no idea. You have shit that lives in your eyebrows that comes out at night, and we all do.
Right.
I mean, and the thing is, though, if one of those little things was like, "You're dead, motherfucker," like, we wouldn't know. And that's what I mean.
We wouldn't know until they've executed their plan, and we don't wake up in the morning, Frosty.
Look, okay, I'm gonna switch sides begrudgingly just to help. If I were Air Bud, I would sneak into that freaking super advanced lab that exists in Godzilla's universe, take over from that girl and put on the headset and be like, row, row, row. And now I'm controlling that flying thing that's like the jet that accompanies Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla, right.
Now we gotta fight. And so Air Bud going like, row, row, and then Mechagodzilla's like, row. And then it's all bam. Or something.
Okay.
But otherwise, the reason I think Godzilla wins this is because he's not even going to be aware Air Bud's like
doing
pissed
anything.
off.
Right.
Yeah, just going to be stomping along, and then maybe Air Bud does win just because Godzilla goes away, not even realizing there was a battle to begin with. Other than that,
moves on.
Yeah, like if he were deciding I'm going to kill Air Bud, I mean, it's not going to be hard. It would be like, but with an ant or just nuclear breath.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Here's how we treat this. So, it's a Godzilla movie, but Tokyo's protect. So, Godzilla comes and does a thing, but it's up to Air Bud to be the real savior of Tokyo. And Godzilla's dumb, so he's a little dog, so he doesn't know. He's not even aware of it until it's too late. So Air Bud, the Casey Jones of the dog world, utilizing all that knowledge, Shadow of the Colossus up to Godzilla and finds a way, maybe goes inside him and just does an air bud. He will take that hockey stick and he will just cram it right up somewhere that, find it somewhere vulnerable on the Godzilla scale or something. Yes.
Look, I hate to do this to you, but boo, I call boo. If you want to, if you've got the underdog character, research the other one, find a weakness, because he's been beaten. I just know more about Godzilla than you. There's a fucking jar of stuff in that universe that you could
I think it's more fun to use Airbud's natural abilities and to rely on something from another universe.
But you're using them in conjunction with, because I like your idea of him air butting his way up his back. But now what? Get the jar of shit and then fucking hockey stick it into his mouth or something, or basketball like the jar, and then it crashes in his mouth and then it turns him into a giant skeleton.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now we're referencing Godzilla 1, and you've got your creative side using Air Bud. I'm just saying, I call boo, try harder next time.
I've been busy all fucking week. I call that. But I decided to go full Air Bud without any other outside MacGuffin. I know. I know.
But anyway,
I just think that'd be cool. I want to see Air Bud, Shadow of the Colossus Godzilla. That's awesome.
Superpower. I thought you were going to go that direction. How powerful?
No, I didn't want to go superpowers. I wanted to just go full on, just regular old Air Bud. I didn't want to go any of the silliness. I think it'd be funny to just treat it like that.
Like Air Bud's oh no, I got to stop Godzilla. Arf, arf, and then his puppies with the superpowers show up. Yeah, I don't know how powerful they are though.
I mean, they all have they have their own little Avengers powers. So you got the strong one. I think one's invisible. You have
are they powerful enough to take on a kaiju though? Especially the king of the kaijus.
I mean, depends on who's writing. It depends on who your target audience is.
Anyway, so we'll put this up for a poll on Twitter. Who do you guys think won Godzilla? My argument being he just
Godzilla
accidentally kills him somehow, doesn't even try. Versus Cap's argument that Air Bud will Air Bud his way up his back and then find a weak spot in a Shadows of Colossus style that Godzilla never had before, and then kills him.
Okay, so even use whatever universal MacGuffin to take out Godzilla, but I think it is well within Air Bud's abilities to scale the king of the kaijus as he's slowly lumbering along to administer said MacGuffin in some sort of either basketball, hockey, baseball, volleyball, soccer.
You know what they would do if they were making a movie? If you were to use your universe's power, is they would all it would be Air Bud's puppies, or Air Bud and his friends,
right?
And they find some kind of alien technology, and now they've each got their own mechs.
Right.
And then, so there's dogs piloting mechs, and then they come together to make one big Air Bud.
Yes. That's awesome.
But then, because it's Godzilla, they would both realize, oh, we have to put our differences aside. And then it would be Air Bud and basketball Godzilla
versus Gojira or versus Mecha Ghidorah or something. Yes.
Yeah, in a basketball match. Anyway, we'll put that question out there. We're not going to do a poll because I don't like doing two polls. But who do you think would win in a basketball match? That would be interesting to discuss too.
Right.
All right. Well, we've got about 6 minutes left.
We should roll. I want to roll.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, let's roll.
I like rolling. Oh my goodness, where are my dice? Oh, there they are. I got a new printer. I'm cleaning everything. We need to roll lower than a 3.
The list is taking a second to open.
Oh,
God, it's really taking a while.
I got a 1. Who's number 1?
I don't know, dude. The list isn't opening for some reason. Come on. Why isn't it opening? Probably need to restart my Chromebook.
Womp womp.
Well, I don't want to do it now because it has all my stuff on there.
So tune in next week where we are pitting contestant number 1 versus contestant number.
We'll announce them on Facebook.
What's your number though? What's your number?
I don't. Oh, almost dropped my dice tray. Not a good day for me right now. I don't know what I got to roll under. Oh, well, this is good. It's 1 versus 5.
So tune in next week where contestant number 1 is going to be pitted against contestant number 5. Whoa.
Let me try closing my initial list. Now opening. Oh, this works. Okay. Battle Nerds.
Battle Nerds.
I want to say you have Superman. But there we go. Oh no, you've got returning fighter James Bond. Oh, you're gonna be bummed because I get him, but it's gonna be James Bond versus Han Solo.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, we'll trade.
Yes.
All right, I'll take Bond. You got Solo. I don't know which version, but yeah. I mean, off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with Sean Connery, but I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with James Bond Jr.
James Bond. James Bond. I was going to suggest that. Damn it.
He was who fought you at James Bond last time, and that was who you picked, James Bond Jr. Remember? No, maybe I had James Bond, and didn't you go up against Zorro and you picked the animated Zorro?
Yeah. So I picked the animated Zorro versus that was Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes.
No.
Yeah.
Anywho,
God, I watched a lot of that show to do research. Anyways, we've got 3 minutes. Wow, this show went by quick.
Yeah.
Anyways, I want to talk more about this coin because it's really cool. So I sent pictures. It's had its grand opening last week. It's a speakeasy tea bar, but it's magic themed, and it's very like Lord of the Rings, like D&D style, almost like Mystic Tavern kind of feeling to it. It's really cool. But they had the bookcase that opens up, and that's the entrance to the secret room. And this guy who opened this place is a big nerd, so he just donated all of his like comic book trades and all of like his like tabletop manuals and everything is just open reading for people to come and just watch. It's really cool. It's not done yet. There's a Zoltar machine that you can remove the Zoltar and you can fill in, which I think is great. It's cool. So they serve tea and ice cream, and it was great. I enjoyed it. Shut up and take my money, but this gives me admission with a +1 into the VIP lounge at Elixir.
That's cool.
Yeah, and what's cool is that there's no external signage. There's no storefront signage to this place until you walk in. It's on the second level. It's above the old Condom Revolution, if you remember that place, the old sex shop. So it's funny, you go up, and then there's a line of people waiting to get in, and there's a psychic reader who has a business right next door, so she had her little elf ears on, and she was handing out like 25% off, like quick readings or whatnot. Good for her.
I want to, before we go, I want to give a small shout out to Starscream is my goat. That's at Dalton Richard 17 on Twitter. He had one of my favorite responses to one of my tweets this week. He had posted about how Darkseid from the Snyderverse is kind of a coward because he had to wait to like go get the Omega effect before he came back to fight them. And then of course I was like,
this looks like a job for.
And I was like, well, actually, that is not the real Darkseid. The real Darkseid is beyond space and time, and that is actually how Darkseid interacts with that specific universe.
Right.
And then he was like, then his response, it just cracked me up. It was that scene from Chappelle's Show, and where he's like, "Well, what happened was," and he just knocks over the thing, and runs away. That just really cracked me up. I always like your responses and your tweets and stuff. So you can follow him on Twitter, and again, his Twitter handle is Dalton Richards 17,
Hmm.
or the name he goes by, Starscream, is my goat.
Nice.
So, what
What
do you think of Starscream? I always hated him as a character.
I detest Starscream. I
Like in a way that like you're supposed to though. Like you're not supposed to like him.
so I've never liked the character. I've never liked like, even in Beast Wars, there was like like their version of Starscream, which was a pterosaur. It was just that sniveling, just backhanded conniving. I've never liked Starscream. However, in the new
I like his character though. I just don't like him. I like him the way I like Joffrey.
right, oh yeah, he's awful. But I will say my favorite version of Starscream is actually the one that we got in the latest War for Cybertron show that was on Netflix. He's you're kind of seeing him from the early stages before he really starts amping up and being more and more just Starscreamy. They sort of softened him a little bit, and I kind of like that because he's supposed to be like the best. He's Megatron's lieutenant. Like Megatron isn't an idiot. He wouldn't put somebody in charge like that who was always an idiot. So it's nice to see Starscream as Megatron's lieutenant and not just some sniveling. Ugh. So I actually do like that version. But otherwise, yeah, he's like Joffrey. I don't like him because he's just that character. But yeah,
All right.
yeah,
So yeah, I guess we should
yeah. Let's end it
finish
with
the
a
show.
nerdy quote. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please smash that like button. I hate how everybody says that. Smash that like
I
button.
know, but like, yeah, I always say thumb it.
Yeah,
Thumb us really hard.
thumb us hard. Use your
Yeah.
clicky to do the pokey pokey. Yes.
Also, if you hit the notification bell, then you get like special features. Like you'll be notified that when we're online, and
Yes.
I think doesn't it do a little hooray thing too, or is that the like button? I don't remember.
Yeah.
But do all of those things. Hit all the buttons. Leave us a comment. We
Yes.
read all of them.
Sorry, I hit my
We
Lewis
respond
like
to
button.
all of them. Talk to us on Twitter. Talk to us on Facebook. All the links you guys should be able to find. They're everywhere. And or just Google Pitch Nerds. You'll find us.
Yes.
Anyway,
let's end the show with a nerdy quote by Mr. Frosty. Take her away.
All right. It's not about where you were born, or what powers you have, or what you wear on your chest. It's about what you do. It's about action.
Good night, everybody.